Hello nerds, everything alright with you? Today, I bring the first video of this channel, a special video that tells the summarized story of what, in my opinion, is the greatest, most iconic, and best villain of all time, Darth Vader. So let's get started. Anakin Skywalker, a mystery since birth on Tatooine, sparked debates about his origin. Qui-Gon Jinn, a visionary Jedi, believed that Anakin was the chosen one destined to bring balance to the Force. His peculiar birth was marked by cosmic events, leaving the galaxy speculating about the meaning of his existence. During a mission on Naboo, Qui-Gon Jinn, Anakin's initial mentor, was killed by the Sith Darth Maul. The loss left a deep emotional scar in Anakin's heart, who felt the absence of a guiding father figure. Anakin's training on the imposing Coruscant under Obi-Wan Kenobi highlighted his exceptional skills. However, his intense emotions and a complicated relationship with the Jedi hierarchy revealed the inherent fragility in Jedi discipline. Anakin's internal conflict between obedience and emerging feelings began to shape his journey. Anakin and Padme Amidala's paths crossed amid the turmoil of the Clone Wars. A forbidden passion flourished, leading to a clandestine romance that defied the strict Jedi rules. Their love not only revealed Anakin's humanity, but also became the source of his greatest vulnerability. After Obi-Wan Kenobi was kidnapped by Count Dooku, Qui-Gon Jinn's master, Padme and Anakin went to Geonosis to save the Jedi, only to be captured as well. Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Padme were taken to the execution arena, where native Geonosian monsters were released to kill them. Before the monsters could do so, Mace Windu and a large group of Jedi arrived to rescue the prisoners. Dooku, realizing the situation was slipping out of his control, decided to face Obi-Wan and Anakin personally. The ensuing duel was intense, showcasing Dooku's lightsaber skills. He managed to incapacitate Obi-Wan and then Anakin before being confronted by Yoda, who arrived on the battlefield. The duel between Yoda and Dooku was brief but spectacular, with Yoda displaying his extraordinary lightsaber skills. Dooku eventually fled, bringing the duel to an end. At the beginning of the Clone Wars, Anakin Skywalker received Ahsoka Tano as his apprentice. The relationship between Anakin and Ahsoka was marked by a strong master-apprentice bond, with Anakin being a charismatic mentor and Ahsoka a quick learner. The cunning Darth Sidious perceived the untapped promise in Anakin and began to weave his dark influence. Under the guise of Chancellor Palpatine, he fueled Anakin's fears and insecurities, exploiting his desire for power and sowing the seeds of the unfolding tragedy. Anakin, accompanied by Obi-Wan Kenobi, embarked on a mission to rescue Chancellor Palpatine, who was captured by Darth Tyrannus, Count Dooku. During the confrontation, Anakin and Obi-Wan dueled with Dooku. Eventually, Anakin found himself alone against Dooku after Obi-Wan was incapacitated. Throughout the battle, Anakin used his anger and determination to overcome Dooku. In a decisive moment, Anakin, propelled by the dark side of the Force, managed to disarm Dooku and ended up with two lightsabers in hand. Palpatine, watching the fight, whispered to Anakin to kill Dooku. Ignoring his Jedi instincts, which would typically condemn such an act, he decapitated Dooku with the lightsabers. This brutal act marked a crucial point in Anakin's descent to the dark side of the Force, signaling his gradual sink into darkness and eventual transformation into Darth Vader. Anakin's internal torments reached a climax when, desperate to save Padme from death, he turned to Darth Sidious. The betrayal of the Jedi during Order 66 execution and his transformation into Darth Vader were marked by an act of desperation, signaling the beginning of his dark journey. The volcanic landscape of Mustafar was the setting for an epic confrontation between Anakin and his master, Obi-Wan. The brutal battle resulted in Anakin's devastating defeat, his hopes shattered, and his body severely injured. Sidious rescued the now defenseless Anakin, physically and symbolically transforming him into Darth Vader. After the devastating events in which Anakin Skywalker succumbed to darkness and became Darth Vader, the galaxy continued to transform under the rule of the Galactic Empire. However, amidst the oppression, a fearless figure emerged, keeping the flame of resistance alive: Ahsoka Tano. Anakin's former apprentice found herself in a distressing emotional dilemma. A wound that refused to heal. In a moment of reflection on a distant planet, Ahsoka found a Jedi artifact that connected her deeply to the Force. Under the influence of the relic, Ahsoka received painful visions of the past, reliving moments shared with Anakin. These visions, despite being painful, renewed her determination to find a way to redeem Anakin, if possible. As she continued her quest, Ahsoka also became an inspiration to others resisting the Empire. Her ability to unite allies and lead with compassion reflected the Jedi teachings she had received. The complex and emotional relationship with Anakin remained a constant in her journey, a source of strength and anguish. Anakin, after his transformation into Darth Vader, crossed paths with his former Padawan Ahsoka Tano. The encounter was marked by an emotional battle when Ahsoka refused to accept Anakin's new identity as a Sith. The painful separation between master and apprentice left emotional scars that echoed over time. Darth Vader emerged as the embodiment of Sith power during the reign of the Galactic Empire. His role in hunting down Jedi and expanding Sith dominance solidified his status as a feared figure in the galaxy. Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, Princess Leia, and other members of the Rebel Alliance are aboard the Millennium Falcon en route to the Rebel base when they receive a distress call from Leia. She is detained on the Imperial space station, the Death Star, and needs to be rescued. Upon arriving at the Death Star, Luke, Han, and Chewbacca embark on a mission to save Leia and deactivate the tractor beam generator. Meanwhile, Obi-Wan, now known as Ben Kenobi, infiltrates the station to deactivate the shield protecting the generator. As Ben works to fulfill his mission, he encounters Darth Vader, his former apprentice who has now embraced the dark side of the Force. The duel between the two Jedi Masters is intense, but Ben Kenobi demonstrates surprising control over the Force and sacrifices himself to allow the others to escape. Vader, wielding his lightsaber, strikes through Ben Kenobi's body. However, upon being hit, Kenobi mysteriously disappears, leaving only his garments behind. This act of sacrifice, known as the death of a Jedi or the Force Ghost, is a form of transcendence in the Force that skilled Jedi can achieve. Luke, a skilled pilot, FLIs his X-Wing starfighter toward the Death Star, a massive space station with the capability to destroy entire planets. With the assistance of his fellow Rebel pilots, including Han Solo and Wedge Antilles, Luke faces intense resistance from Imperial TIE fighters and the station's defenses. Guided by the teachings of Obi-Wan Kenobi and using the Force to enhance his accuracy, Luke targets the weaknesses of the Death Star. He fires a precise shot at the main reactor, triggering a chain reaction that leads to the destruction of the station. Luke's act of courage not only saves the Rebel Alliance from the imminent threat of the Death Star, but also becomes a symbol of hope and resistance. This achievement marks a pivotal moment in Luke Skywalker's journey and the triumph of the Rebel Alliance over Imperial forces. The story unfolds after the destruction of the Death Star. The Rebels are on the run, while the Galactic Empire intensifies its efforts to crush the Rebel Alliance. Luke Skywalker seeks to enhance his Jedi skills under the tutelage of Yoda on the remote planet Dagobah. After rudimentary Jedi training with Yoda on Dagobah, Luke senses a disturbance in the Force and sets out to rescue his friends Leia, Han Solo, and Chewbacca, who are being pursued by the Empire. However, what he finds on Bespin is a trap set by Darth Vader to lure Luke and thus draw him to the dark side. Luke, guided by visions of the future and confident in his newly acquired abilities, confronts Vader in the corridors of Cloud City. The duel is intense and rapidly evolving. During the fight, Vader incessantly tries to persuade Luke to succumb to his anger and fear, encouraging him to embrace the dark side of the Force. The events culminate in the iconic scene where Vader reveals the shocking truth to Luke. "I am your father." The revelation that Vader is indeed Luke's father deeply shakes the young Jedi. Unable to accept this fact, Luke refuses to join Vader and chooses to plunge into the abyss of Cloud City. Anakin's redemption began when his son, Luke Skywalker, believed there was still goodness within him. The internal conflict between loyalty to Sidious and love for his son launched Vader on a quest for his own identity and purpose. The critical moment occurs during the final confrontation between Luke, Vader, and Emperor Palpatine aboard the second Death Star. Palpatine tries to corrupt Luke, but the young Jedi refuses to succumb to hatred. Vader, in turn, witnesses his son's suffering and Palpatine's cruelty. When Palpatine uses the Force to torture Luke, Vader faces a crucial choice. Redemption begins when Vader realizes that loyalty to his son surpasses loyalty to the Emperor. He grabs Palpatine, who tries to attack Luke with Force lightning, and throws the Emperor into the Death Star's reactor, sacrificing himself in the process. In the final moments of his life, Vader's helmet is removed by Luke. Anakin Skywalker, disfigured and dying, looks at his son for the first time with his own eyes. He asks Luke to let him die, and in his final words, Anakin finds redemption by reconciling with the light side of the Force. This iconic moment concludes the original Star Wars trilogy with a powerful narrative arc of redemption and salvation. So, what did you think? Your feedback is very important, especially for a channel like mine that is just starting out. If you enjoyed the video and would like to support my channel, please like the video and subscribe. Thank you for your attention, and see you next time.